We went on field trips to hear the LA Philharmonic, and we went to the Lighthouse in Concord by the Sea to see jazz musicians play. We would go to the studios. We're in Los Angeles. We played a lot of big Battle of the Bands kinds of contests, and some of the adjudicators would be people like Quincy Jones, Oliver Nelson, Tom Scott. And so we would also get to go to the studios, and I saw musicians living the life of musicians on lots of different levels and in lots of different ways, making music. And then there was this up-and-coming band that occasionally would rehearse at our high school.
I know where you're going with this.
They were called Earth, Wind, and Fire. And they came and would rehearse, and then the summer that I graduated, Mighty Mighty came out, and they blew up. So we saw the work that went into it, but we also saw the rewards that came from it.
Well, speaking of the rewards, I heard a rumor that Earth, Wind, and Fire played your senior prom. Is that true?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, they couldn't pay for the time that they were using our multipurpose room, and so they decided, what can we do? And they played the prom that year, and that happened to be my high school prom.
Talk about the creation of Forget-Me-Nots, and talk about Freddie Washington, who you mentioned before, and the jam sessions that you had at your house when he was sleeping on your on your mom's couch.
Yeah. Freddie originates from the California Bay Area, Oakland, and had been playing for a lot of years up there with different people, and wanted to come down to Los Angeles because he wanted to get involved in the studio recording scene and everything. So we had been playing off and on, because I knew who he was, and I loved his playing, and he was a fan of mine as well, and we had been playing off and on, and he had come down for a couple of visits, and so I knew he was serious when he called me and said, "Ask your mother, can I sleep on her couch, because I got out of here." And so my parents said, yeah. My mom and dad, always taught us that when people are serious about something and you have the means by which you can help them take those important steps, if you can do it, then do it. And so they said, okay. And we used to play. He's living at the house with us, and we used to play every day. And on one of those days that we were playing, he was just playing, he's just doing Freddie, just playing. And I used to record everything just because I had a little 4-track, and we would go back sometimes and listen to it, make improvements in our playing or talk about, certain things. And a lot of songs came from there. And one day he was playing this groove, and I'm like, man, what is that? I don't know. I'm just playing. And gradually that evolved, keep doing that. And that evolved into, this sort of riff of this wicked bass line, which is so complete that you don't really need a lot of extra chordal material, just the right chords at the right time to enhance this bass line. And then I think we took we made a little cassette of it, and I think he played it for somebody else, and Terry McFadden came up with the Forget-Me-Nots, imagery. And then it was about writing the verse and kind of just letting it be, It it's funny that so many of the songs don't have a bigger story, but at the same time, I think it's a very poignant story because it points out how all of those years, Electra, Fantasy, Lock High School, taught you how to listen.
Yep.
And sometimes a moment goes by, and I think that there is an art to being able to realize, wait a minute, what's that? From the moment that happened before, the moment that happened after. To be able to say there's something else there. That too is a skill worth developing and trusting. And that's how that happened.
I want to close by a couple of things that I'd be remiss if we didn't get to. One is your relationship with Prince. if you want to deep dive down a rabbit hole on YouTube, you can find a performance of you playing with Prince on Saturday Night Live for the 15th anniversary performance. But you and Prince were, you were friends, you were peers, and he looked to you for, for some musical advice and just some feedback. What do you remember about Prince?
I think that when we met, one of the things that was important to the person who made that connection was the fact that his name was Tommy Vicari. Tommy Vicari is a very well-known recording engineer and happened to be mixing one of my recordings and I guess introducing Prince to different labels. He said, I would like you to meet this young man. He's from Minneapolis, and he's a fan of yours, but the bigger thing is he reminds me so much of you in terms of playing a lot of instruments and you guys have some of the same influences, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. So we talked on the phone. And after that very first conversation, I said, well, call me sometime and let's talk some more. And he did. He followed up. He called and he would ask me questions about how did you do this on a certain song, or what effect is that you put on so and so on. So our initial friendship was built on this mutual geek out over music, and he asked me to write the strings for his first album, a song called Baby. It's on the first album. And we continued to have dialogue and met a couple of times when he might be in town. And then we were on American Bandstand. We filmed that show the same day. We were not on the same show, but we filmed the same day. So we were there at the same time. We were able to talk there. His questions were always about the music. And I would hear from other people, oh, he really loves your work, et cetera, et cetera. And I was increasingly becoming a fan of his. I would go to a lot of the concerts. I just watched it sort of just blow up, just watched it just explode. Super, 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 super talented. And when we had the opportunity, he asked me to come and do Saturday Night Live, and then I got to really watch him work in his space at Paisley Park and all the things that went along with that. He was always really nice and really gracious, and I think for me, very respectful. We had I had several occasions to witness his vulnerability, which is I don't think a lot of people got to see. And mine took the form of just before Purple Rain was released. He was very concerned about it, obviously. And I happened to be in New York doing some promotion, and he was in New York for whatever reason. We happened to be in the same hotel. I didn't know he was going to be there, but I guess he found out I was there and said, let's talk. And I said, okay, cool. So we went down to the closed restaurant and we talked for a couple of hours. And he was really concerned about Purple Rain. And I said, well, did you do the best you could? He said, yeah. I said, you put your heart and soul into it, and does it represent what it is you were trying to make? And he said, yes, it does. I said, well, then there it is. I said, that's all you can do. You got to wait now and just see if other people connect to it, and hopefully they will. And he said, from your lips to God's ears. Mm. And I said, it'll be fine. I'm sure of it. I just got this feeling about it that, it would be fine. And of course it was better than fine. Boom. And I went to the premiere and the whole 9 yards, and I saw him at the premiere and I was like, so see.
Amazing.